Going crazy here, and I want to show you my currency collection. Before we dig in, I want to show you this. This is Amelia Earhart's autograph. The reason it's out and about is because I usually stow it away with my currency, since it's also a paper item. And I bought this 7 months ago or so, and it's such an honor to own her autograph. I actually took this down to a museum specializing in artifacts related to Amelia Earhart. They said that they believe this to be 100% authentic. I need to send it in to a company called PSA and use their DNA service, which for $75, they'll do something similar to what NGC and PCGS does for coins. They'll encapsulate this and they'll authenticate it. And if it does indeed come back as authentic, like I think it will, then this thing will triple in value. But I didn't buy it for its investment purposes. I bought this because I have a close tie to the aviation business. Not only that, but I am from Kansas, and I absolutely love the fact that Amelia Earhart turned a hobby into a career and accomplished great things just to say she accomplished them. It makes me want to wake up every day and ask myself, what great things can I accomplish in my lifetime? She is such a great role model, and her life was definitely a very fascinating life. Another thing about her is she loved to fly, and it was a hobby for her that turned into, like I said, a career. And the way that she funded that hobby, you guys should see all the different types of jobs that she had in order to fund her flying hobby. So pretty cool. Very happy that I own that. So I guess I'll start off showing you these first. These are these really nice BCW plastic currency holders, and they're made for large notes. This is a $1 United States note from 1917. Got Christopher Columbus there discovering the New World, landing on the shores of America. And you've got George Washington there with these beautiful red seals. On the back here, you've got a pretty cool warning that counterfeiting is not tolerated. If you're caught counterfeiting, it's a $5,000 fine or 15 years imprisonment with hard labor. So they were serious then about their counterfeiting. This is the first type of US dollar that was ever distributed, published, produced, I guess would be the word, by the US Treasury or the United States government. This was from August of 1962. And this is actually the 54,000th $1 bill ever made by the US. So this is pretty neat. These are valuable in any condition. This is a $1 silver certificate, and it's a large note. This is from the series of 1923. It's got the funny back on the reverse of it, the back side of it. This I got for free. Someone threw it in with a coin I had ordered. It's not real at all, but it's really neat. It's made out of this like plasticky material. It's made to look like it's gold-plated, but it isn't. You can actually buy gold and silver-plated bills, which is pretty neat. This is a $5 Federal Reserve Bank note, and this is the red seal. This is from the series of 1928, which is pretty neat. This is a $1 silver certificate from 1899. I should say the series of 1899. Got President Lincoln and Grant there at the bottom. This is pretty cool. If you guys have the Columbian Exposition $50, then you guys know exactly what I'm talking about when I say Columbian Exposition. This was a huge event held in 1893, and to commemorate this event, they produced a silver $50, commemorative $50, a postage stamp, a first day cover for that postage stamp, along with these really neat admission tickets. They actually have 4, 5, 6, 7 different types of designs and styles, and these were actually printed by the same company, the American Banknote Company, that produced all the fractional currency that was printed years earlier. So these things are really neat. They've got different designs and styles. This is an admission ticket. You can see here on the back it says good for one admission at pay gates. I don't know if I can get, I hate when things don't focus. Good for one admission at pay gates. So this thing is really neat, and I want to collect all of them. So that's an admission ticket. And so I have I have the $50, which is really cheap in itself. It's like 12 to 25 bucks online, depending on condition. But I have the $50. I've got an admission ticket, and I have the postage stamp and first day cover. So this is pretty neat. They actually came out with a whole series of postage stamps. I've got a modern day $2 bill. Anytime I find a bank that has $2 bills, I always ask for all of them. And the banks here, they don't always stock a whole lot of them. So I have quite a few of them that I've managed to save up over time. I didn't pay much for this. I got a really good deal, so that's why I bought it, because the condition is really poor. But 50-cent fractional piece of currency. This is a large note, national currency $1 bill issued by the Federal Reserve Bank of Kansas City. And it says May 18th of 1914 on the front there. It's very neat. I've got another one of these $1 United States notes, series of 1917. This one's in fair condition, not as great as the one that I have over here. I have another silver certificate. I have a ton of these in all different conditions. I've got a couple of these Hawaii notes. I have 3 of them. And they stamped Hawaii on the back, as you can see. They used brown seals and brown serial numbers, and then they put the words Hawaii. And the reason they did that was because they thought that the Japanese government during World War II was going to invade Hawaii and all of a sudden have access to United States currency. And so they put these markings on these notes and used a different color seal and serial number for the purpose of being able to demonetize these notes quickly in the event that that did occur. They don't want Japanese government to have access to U.S. dollars and be able to use those against it in the war effort. Let's see here. I've got another 10-cent fractional currency piece. See if I can get that to focus. So that's pretty neat. This is my first piece of fractional currency that I ever owned. And this is a 15-cent fractional currency piece. I bought this at a garage sale and I only paid like $1 for it. This is a Canadian 25 cents fractional currency from 1899, 1900, which is pretty neat. You got Britannica there, which is pretty cool. This is pretty neat. This is a silver certificate, and I guess it's a star note, but it could also be, I guess, perceived as a birthday note. You got 10/7 of 1981 on there, a birth year note, so that's pretty neat. Another modern day $2 bill. Another one of these $1 silver certificates from 1899. You can see the one above is in much nicer condition. I have a military payment certificate from 1964. This is for $10. I have an old red seal $2 bill from 1953, the series of 53. You can see the back is different than our modern day $2 bill. Got a modern day $2 bill, and then I want you guys to notice, see the difference on this $2 bill versus the one above. See the red seals, they're in different locations, and the word 2 is different. This is actually an older one. This is from the series of 1928. Same back, just different fronts. Central Bank of Bahamas $1 bill. It's cool. It has that holographic fish there and then that line down the middle. Marching band on the back. Another red seal $2 note. A 5-cent currency, fractional currency note. Another $5 red seal from 1963. A $5 silver certificate. I'd like to get a couple more of the $5 silver certificates. I have a ton of currency from Iraq from when Saddam Hussein was in power. I have currency, banknotes like this. I have the coins, and I also have the stamps. And it's pretty cool. You can buy this stuff really cheap right now, and you can get it in bulk lots. So you can buy a ton of these different Iraqi notes, these dinars, for next to nothing, and you get quite a bit of them. Definitely worth having, because, you know, in 15, 20, 30 years, that will be just a neat thing to have. Got the military payment certificate. This is from 1948 for 5 cents. Cool design on the back there. Some more modern day $2 notes. And some of them are from every year, like that's from 2003. This is from 1995. 2013. Another silver certificate. Another $2 red seal note. This is notes actually used to fund the revolution, and these things are cool. State of Massachusetts Bay, the possessor of this bill shall be paid 8 Spanish mil dollars by the 31st day of December 1786, with interest in like money at the rate of 5 per centum per annum, annum, by the state of Massachusetts Bay. And there's a hole in here because this was redeemed for those 8 Spanish mil dollars, which were legal currency in the U.S. up until the 1850s. And on the back here, you actually have a nice little shield there, I guess, or not quite sure what that is. And then you've got some signatures, same people who printed the shillings for the English government before the Revolution, Hall and Sellers. So I think that's neat. This is the largest, one of the largest banknotes ever produced in the world by a country. This is for $10 billion, Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe. And you guys can actually pick these up on bulk lots as well on eBay. I think it's like 20 bucks for 10 of these, uncirculated. These are fun to give away as gifts. So, neat thing to have. I have 100 pesos issued by the Japanese government when I believe they invaded the Philippines during World War II. This is the largest banknote ever issued by a country, $10 trillion. Like I said, you can find these things really cheap. This is an older $1 bill from the Bahamas. And it doesn't have that holographic fish. Another silver certificate. This is a Intaglio press reproduction of the educational $1 silver certificate. And I actually have the original right here. And you can see why I bought the reproduction, because I wanted a complete look at it so people could see, hey, this is what it looks like when it was crisp and brand new. This is pretty cool. This is prior to the American Revolution, and I am going to get this thing to focus. This is actually 2 shillings issued by the Pennsylvania Assembly in accordance with the reign of His Majesty George III, dated October 1773. There's 3 signatures on it and then some numbers to the right. And then on the back, it says, printed by Hall and Sellers, 2 shillings, and then to counterfeit is death. So if you counterfeit these shillings, you're going to die. And again, this is colonial currency here. This is before the Revolution. King George III is still in control. Isn't that neat? This is a older $2 treasury note, or $1 treasury note, excuse me. And this is actually a star note. See the star there? Well, I think you could see, there we go. You can see the star there. Series 1891. This is a small silver certificate from 1934. And this actually has the funny back on it, which is pretty neat. This is a $10 promissory note from the Confederate States of America. And what's cool is it says here that this is not, really doesn't have any value until 2 years after the ratification of a treaty of peace between the Confederate States of America and the United States of America. So people were trading in the CSA, the Confederate States of America, they were trading these certificates, these promissory certificates essentially, that they would be worth something 2 years after the Confederate States of America won the war, which they never did, so these were never worth $10. Another $100 Japanese government, 100 pesos, Japanese government issued kind of war note there. And A modern day $2 bill, another certificate, silver certificate. This is a German mark. Looks like from 1920. And this is a 10-cent fractional currency piece. Here is a 25-cent fractional currency piece. This is a $2 modern day Federal Reserve note, a $1 military payment certificate from 1952. Another 25-cent fractional currency from Canada. You got Britannica there, 1900. This is a military payment certificate from 1964, $5. Some more silver certificates, again, all different conditions. This is a really crisp silver certificate, and this was bought at Mount Vernon in Washington, at Washington's home, Mount Vernon, for $6. Very crisp silver certificate. A $2 Federal Reserve note, a modern day one. This is pretty cool. This is a $1 guarantee. It's kind of like a banknote. This was when private companies and states and so forth were issuing their own forms of currency. And this is pretty cool. This is a $1 bill issued by the Greensboro Mutual Life Insurance and Trust Company to Mr. McCoy there. And you could take it to this company and redeem it for $1. This was produced in 1830, I believe, 8. Or maybe that's a serial number there. There's the date, 1861. So prior, this was the reason why the government started printing their own banknotes, was because of this. Companies, and I mean, this was no good. You took this outside of Greensboro, this was no good. So in 1862, they started making U.S. notes, which were good everywhere, not just in, for example, Greensboro. Here is another Japanese government issued note. The Japanese government, 5 centavos. When they, I guess, invaded the Philippines. I have to double check on that. I'm not quite sure on the Japanese government issued notes. I gotta do some more research on those. I have a 1886 $1 silver certificate that features Martha Washington. This is the first note that actually featured a woman on the banknote. It's pretty bad condition on the back, but again, one of those notes that are valuable in any condition. This one I picked up just because it was super cheap. You can see why. Archival tape everywhere. It's torn, it's folded, but for $4, it's a total steal. So I'll definitely buy anything like this. It's cheap. Because, you know, I see value in that still. National currency note issued from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, Series 1929. Your modern day $2 bill. Now, this is pretty cool. This is the oldest $2 bill I have, and this is from the educational series again. And look at the design of that. 2 silver dollars. Wouldn't this, I mean, I think if they adopted a design like this today, I think more people would use the $2 bills. And the $2 bills are actually a lot more cost effective to produce than the $1 bills. This is the series of 1899. That's kind of hard to read. You guys can kind of see that right below that serial number. Series of 1899 there. But this is such a cool $2 bill. I'd like to get one of these in nicer condition. All right, I've got a $5 national currency note issued by the Federal Reserve Bank of Kansas City. Same series as the last one, 1929. $10 national currency note, same series, 1929. Same issuing bank. Got another silver certificate, torn corner, unfortunately. And then, yeah, I did show you guys these, the $20 national. So that's all the currency that's loose. And then I've got this book here, this binder. I had all of that currency in here, but I didn't like the fact I couldn't fit this thing in my small safe. So I took it all out so I could put it all in my small safe. If I get a big one, I might put it all back in here. I have an old Argentina 1 peso note. Pretty cool. Love the design there. And these are all in these BCW and NERC plastic currency holders. These are military payment certificates from when we, the United States, won the Japanese, well, we won World War II. And this is what we started putting out in Japan. And it's neat because you can buy this really inexpensively on eBay, usually in lots. And I bought this, all of this in a lot. And you can see here, somebody, the soldier who had this, actually converted 50 cents to 5 cents. And on one of these notes, he actually puts where he got it from. And he puts some information about the note. So I thought that was pretty neat. All right, here's another piece of Iraqi money, and this one features Saddam Hussein on it himself. 25 dinars. And there's some more. The Central Bank of Iraq, 100 dinars. He's on every single bill, isn't it crazy? There's a few bills where he's not on there, but you feature the palm trees again, which is pretty neat. In fact, I'll show you guys because I have them right here. This is actually, I just got these in the other day. These are actually the coins for Iraq. You can see the palm tree. And here is another one. It also has the palm tree. So you can see they all utilize that kind of that palm tree type design. And their paper money and their coins. This is an old note from Vietnam, and this was actually brought back by a Vietnam soldier. And we've got another 10-cent military certificate. We have an old German Reichsmark. And then we've got some world currency here, just from all sorts of different places, like Afghanistan. And none of this is really old, like 1994. But it's neat to be able to Bosnia. I'm going to fly through these because these aren't really old. These are pretty current. That's a pretty neat one. Bank of Indonesia. Egypt. I would be surprised if that isn't Egypt. I can't read Arabic, or Arabic I should say, so I don't know if that's indeed from Egypt or something nearby. Here we go, the Arab Republic of Egypt, so yep. Afghanistan again. Hai Trim Dong, I think this is Vietnam, yeah, Vietnam. This is cool, but it feels like Monopoly money. When I take this out and I hold it in my hand, that feels straight up like Monopoly money, but I love the airplane on it. And this one always kind of intrigues me. Isn't that kind of weird? It just, the two guys out there with their arms extended. I don't know what country this is, but this also feels like fake money, but it's not. It's real money that they use over there. It just feels fake. It just doesn't, it doesn't feel like money. when you have it in your hand. So I've got a ton of different world currencies. Nicaragua, Indonesia, I know I didn't say that right. I'm just gonna skip through this to get some more, to the more interesting things. And then here, I've got an old German, another mark, and this is from 1914. Which is pretty cool. Got some more German marks from the 20s, I believe. And some more German marks. What a cool design on this one, if you ask me. Got two of those. From 1908. So pretty cool. I've got some old checks too. This is from Missoula Bank and Trust in Missoula, Montana. $5 written in 1906. Isn't that cool? That was a lot of money back then. And then over here, First National Bank of Spokane, Washington, November 10th of 1947 for $37. Still a lot of money. Notice these checks don't have the routing and account number like the checks of today. Look at all the stamps to process that check. And then I've got one here. Turn this book this way. This is from the First, our People's National Bank of Rock Island. And this is for $22. And this was dated 1905. That is a huge sum of money back then. Huge sum of money. You can see they cut out that it was paid. And this one is from Alton, Kansas. And for $1.88 in 1898. Can you imagine today writing a check for $1.88? I'm sure people do that. It has a revenue stamp on it. I'm sure people do that. But think about it, $1.88 was a lot of money then. A Morgan dollar, and then think about all the, what was that? That would be a Morgan dollar, and a Barber half, and I mean, you guys can do the, think about all the old change, $1.88. This person got back in old change, old coins. Isn't that cool? Chris, American, let's see here. This is from Montana. For $6.12 in 1926. This is another really cool one. Love the deer on this one. This is from December 31st of 1912 for $3.28. Isn't that crazy? The paper now is, I mean, that wouldn't even be worth the printing and the paper of this. I mean, you could not duplicate this. If I sent this to Office Max and I asked them to duplicate this without the writing and just make me a check that looks like this, you probably could not duplicate this for $3.28 professionally. Now, you could probably on your home computer, but once you factor in ink, the time that it took to scan this in and remove the text, and once you factor in all your costs, I bet you're pretty close to the amount that this check was written for. Wouldn't even be worth writing a check for that amount today. You have two more from 1874. This is from the Hocking Valley National Bank. I'm not sure where that is, where that's from. I'm sure if you looked up Hocking Valley, you could see where this check originated from. Lancaster for $30. So whoever this person was who received this check, man, they were well off. $30 was a lot of money back then. And this one too, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania National Bank. This Mr. Robinson here wrote a check for $121. He had some serious cash. That's a guy I want to know if I was around. That would be a guy I would want to know if I was around in 1868. That guy had some money. So that is my paper money collection, and these are pretty cool. You can buy these in big packages on Amazon, and they come with hundreds, 20s, 5s, and 1s, and they're huge. And you can see it says fake reserve note, which is essentially what our money is today. It's not real money, but these are pretty cool to have. You can buy them for like $20 and you get a huge pack of them. Pretty neat to give out to kids and stuff like that. even though they have no value, which is pretty much true with our money today anyway. But that is my paper money collection. So I'm always looking to add paper money and cool things to it. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you found something that you like that maybe you're going to consider adding to your own collections. A lot of this stuff is not that expensive. The most expensive things are some of these large notes. You know, like these can get pretty pricey, but I'll share with you, like I bought this. I bought this, and one of these, all for $100 in one auction. Some of the really older ones, like the first type of dollar ever made, is going to run you a minimum of $100. In really rough condition like this. In better condition, it gets really pricey. Your silver certificates, you can find these for $3, $4, $5. You guys can also find lots of silver certificates where they sell like 50 of them at a time for $100 or $80. Your modern day $2 bills cost you $2 at a local bank. A lot of this stuff is not that pricey, believe it or not. Like, for example, this silver certificate, Mount Vernon sold that for $6, and that's obviously at a gift shop markup. These military payment certificates are actually pretty cheap. You can find these for as low as $12, $13, $14, and they've got some really cool designs and some neat history. Same with fractional currency. Less than $20, you can buy most types of fractional currency. Definitely on some of the more expensive ones, you're looking at $40 or $50, but really you're not going to find a piece of fractional currency that you can't buy for under $50. Some of the old foreign currencies, super cheap. A lot of this stuff, a lot of this stuff you can find. The Confederate notes, you can buy those all day long for $40 or $50, maybe as high as $60. It's when you start getting into the older notes, like the colonial currency, you're looking at like $130 or better. Some of these really neat notes, like the educational notes, you're looking at $100 at a minimum. And that's at a minimum. I can't stress that enough. You can buy these bulk lots of current currency, like current uncirculated currency, like these world notes that I have. You can buy those for $50 for like 100 of them, 100 different countries. So you guys go on eBay, look for some good deals. Some of the older stuff like this is definitely going to cost you some money, but there's a lot of stuff I've shown you here that is very, very, very affordable. Make sure that if you get paper currency that you protect it. A lot of this stuff, like I hate these flimsy plastic holders. I wish I had a ton of these. I could put some of the older stuff in, all of the older stuff in, but those are kind of expensive. These holders, I like these more firm ones here. But you gotta find something to protect your currency. These flimsy ones, the flimsy plastic ones, they're good, but definitely not as good as kind of the step up here. See how that maintains its shape, whereas that doesn't. There's a lot of flexibility. And then this one doesn't at all. This one absolutely maintains its shape. You can see there's different quality of protectors. You definitely want to make sure your bills are nicely protected, that they're not going to get folds or creases in them, or tears or anything like that. I'm kind of being rough with how I'm handling mine right now, and I shouldn't be. And you definitely want to store these things in a place where if you acquire a bunch of them like this, that you store these in a place where you're not going to expose them to a lot of air and a lot of light. And then if a fire occurs, that they're protected, because you don't want your money to go up in flames. But anyway, I hope you guys like watching this video. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm sorry, I try to keep this video short, and I'm looking at it. It's 34 minutes long. Jeez almighty, I'm so sorry about that. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, though. Take care. Have a good night. Bye.